Hello, everyone. Welcome to my page. Woohoo. Oh my gosh. So, my name is Lori Albert, in case you need to know a little bit about me. My name is Lori Albert. I am a spiritual medium, intuitive educator, podcast host, certified meditation teacher with David G. Let's see what else. Oh, manifestation author. And I am the owner of the Spirit Room on Patreon. So if you are on Patreon, come and find me. Oh my gosh, I've got so much stuff on there now. I started the Patreon page on like January of this year and of 2025. And it has been such a ride. Oh my gosh. And I've got all kinds of memberships in there, but what's fun is that I got more stuff that is coming up. So I'm super excited about that. Anyway, every month on Patreon, we have a theme. And this month, oh my gosh, our theme this month is everyday intuition. Okay. So you don't have to be a you don't have to be a psychic or a medium to really understand what intuition is. So today that's what we're going to be talking about. I am on I am on YouTube because we had a little glitch. Oh my God. Thank you, Mercury, right? We had a little glitch last week on the live that I was doing where I was giving readings. So this is how we're going to try to do it this way. So there we go. Anybody that wants to ask any questions, please come to the YouTube so that everything one place because, oh my God, last week it was crazy. It was just nuts. Hi, Keith. Thank you for coming. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so let's just start. And again, if you have any questions, hi, Bex. Thanks for being here. All right, so if anybody has any questions, go, like I said, go to the YouTube link and you can ask them that way. Okay. But if you just want to watch it, you can just watch it on Patreon. So there we go. We're all set. All right. Now let's get into this. Hey, Betty. Nice to see you. Oh, Betty, what a beautiful love she is. So, all right. I just have to say, I am so excited that you're here today. Okay. Because let's be honest, not all of us walk around seeing spirit or hearing the angelic choirs singing, every morning over your coffee, right? Some of us, it is and was more like, well, had a weird feeling that about that guy, let's just say, right? And yep, he turns out he was shady, right? Or that is your intuition, first of all. Okay. That is your intuition when it's that little voice, possibly. Okay. We're going to get into all the ways that you can recognize your intuition, but I have so much planned for this month, so I can't wait to fit it all in, So here's the thing. If you've ever said things like, I'm not really psychic, but blah, blah, blah. Or I get these gut feelings sometimes. Okay. Or, oh my God, I knew I shouldn't go down that road, but I did. And there you go. Right. Okay. That is intuition. Okay. You are intuitive. I think personally, I think we all are intuitive to some degree, but some of us allow ourselves to feed into that. Do you know what I mean? Like we allow ourselves to experience what that might entail. Okay. And some people just don't. Some people ignore it, and that's fine too. So hold on. Having a little glitch. Ladies and gentlemen, why isn't our other thing up? Okay. I hope this works out. Okay. Because I'm just finding out now that we're a little. Okay. Are we there? Are we back? Can somebody text on there and say, you're still here? Because I need to know. Oh my God. I think we're still good. So anyway, okay. Oh, the joys of Mercury being retrograde, right? Okay. So today, what we are going, thank you, Bax. um, today, we are going to explore the power, because yes, it is powerful, of that knowing. Okay. How to recognize it, trust it, how to use it. So, just to give you a little thing about my background, I had stuff happening from a very young age and I didn't get it. Right? Nobody tells you, like, oh, you must be psychic, unless you come from a psychic family, which, now I do. So I told my daughter, like, first thing, oh my God, you are psychic. Please just know that, or whatever. So unless you come from like a psychic type family. But I was raised very Catholic, and that's all well and good. Kudos to everybody that's Catholic out there and religious. I get it, right? We just didn't know about that stuff. We didn't learn about that stuff. I didn't know anything until way later on. I'm 60 now. I was late 30s, early 40s when I figured it out, that I had something going on and it meant something different than what I thought. When I was in my 20s, I got to learn about spirituality. That was fun. I mean, truly fun. I enjoyed that, right? Because I love to learn. Bring it all on. But then I started realizing what was happening. I started having mediumship hits, which we're not really here to talk about, but so I'm going to kind of bypass that. So I had people visiting me. I had no understanding of why, all of that stuff, right? However, eventually I started getting into this thing of like, you know what? If you guys are the be all end all up there, if God is real, I'm not asking for debate on that, right? But if you guys, meaning spirit, if you guys are all like the be all end all up there, then maybe I should listen to you more. I swear to God, that was my story, right? So I started listening to it, started meditating, because that's like the key on how to really get going with your intuition and mediumship, if you prefer, if you want to, expand on that. So I started dealing with that. I started trusting. I started listening to spirit, and it was fun. I like doing things that are different. I don't like, if everybody else goes right, I go left. I'm one of those people, right? So at any rate, actually, just a few short years ago, I decided what I was going to do was I'm going to live what I believe I made this up, a spirit-led life. Okay. So I go to that place every day and I'm just like, I try. Okay. Because we're all works in progress. I am not perfect at this, right? Definitely not perfect at this. But it's kind of like, should I have a salad or should I have pizza? Right? Sometimes, I swear to you, sometimes I will hear, oh, pizza, you can do pizza. It's not like that it always has to be what you think it's going to be, So at any rate, that is kind of in a nutshell my story. All right. Living that spirit-led life. Okay. So let's jump right into this. And again, if you have any questions, hi, Woo. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions, write it in the YouTube chat, because I'll see it there. I'm not going to be able to see any comments or anything on any of the Patreon pages. Okay. But if you want to write something in YouTube, that's great. Okay. All right. So let's jump right in. What actually is intuition? What is it? Okay. The simple answer to that is that intuition is knowing without knowing, I shouldn't say I should say it this way. Actually, this is going to be more clear. Intuition is knowing without knowing how you know. That is intuition. Okay. The how is kind of an important thing in there, it's that inner voice, that hunch, we've all had that, whether you want to admit it or not. We've all had that. Okay. It's It's that sense, it's that feeling of yes or no before logic gets involved. All right. Logic creeps in. Now, when I say the word logic, I actually mean what I call ego as well. Okay. Now, when I say ego, I don't mean like the I'm better than you, I'm worse than you, that ego. I'm talking about the ego self, the inner self, the way that we, how can I say it? The way that we kind of deal with things, right? The way our humanness deals with things. Okay. Okay. So before I go on, Bex has something to say. This is good. I'm still having an issue determining what is general anxiety. Oh, we're going to talk about that. Ooh, that's great. I mean, that's a great question. It's not great that you have anxiety, but it's great that you have that question. And what happened, and what might be intuition warning me. This happened on Thursday. I went ahead and did the thing despite anxiety, and it was fine. So we're going to get into that. And that is such an incredible question or comment, I guess I should say, because we all have that. You might think that it's anxiety. You might think you're not sure what it is. But today we're going to sort of talk about getting into the how to see it. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I do have a new mediumship and psychic development course that starts actually next Saturday. Okay. It's a 4-week course. And I got to tell you, if you think that you might be psychic or a medium, go to the events page on my website, lauriealbert.com, and read that there. And again, use your intuition. Should I do this or should I not? It's $150. And I got to tell you, that's really cheap. I try to keep things cheap. I mean, some of my mentors that I have studied with in the past do courses like this for like $500, $600, $700. So actually thousands of dollars in some cases. So just saying, if you want to learn what your abilities are, go check it out. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I don't mean for this to be a commercial, but I want you to be able to feel what's going on within you. Okay. So anyway, okay, let's get back. Your intuition. Okay. It might come as that yes or no. But whatever it does, it comes before your intuition comes before the logic or before the logic gets involved, before the ego gets involved. Okay. And sometimes it shows up like a gut feeling. Okay. You feel that little thing in your gut. Okay. Sometimes it's like a whisper in your mind, or sometimes this is a big one because a lot of people get this and ignore it. Sort of a sudden knowing, sometimes it's that sudden, like, oh, I shouldn't do that. Or, oh, I need to sign up for that class. And I don't mean to use that as an example, but it's just what came to my mind, right? Might be a feeling in your body, a weird dream, or my personal favorite, I don't know why. I just know. Okay. That's all your intuition. Okay. Intuition is not just spiritual people's woo-woo word, right? It's just not, it's very real. And I'm sorry to say it this way because a lot of people have issues with that, right? But here's the thing. Scientists have studied this a lot, more than you would know, more than you would understand, right? Psychologists talk about this, Einstein, boy, that wasn't very smart, was it? One of the smartest men that ever was, right? He said the intuitive mind is a sacred gift. Okay. So let's call it our soul's GPS. Okay. It's what helps you determine your life, things going on. Okay. Now, intuition is really the spirit's way of tapping you on the shoulder, let's just say, and saying, hey, pay attention here. You don't have to be a full-on psychic or a medium to be intuitive. And that is kind of the whole point to right here, right now, this whole thing that we're doing. Okay. You just have to be human and willing to have an open heart and to listen. Okay. So now the big question that I always get, I get this so often. Okay. How do I know, Bex, how do I know that it's intuition and not my anxiety or my imagination? That is such a big question. And it's funny because it's not funny, Bex. I'm sorry for that you're having trouble determining it, but it's so ironic that you would ask that because that's what we're going to break down right now, right? Okay. So your intuition is usually calm, usually, okay? Everybody is different. These are generalities, and I'll get into a little bit more of the specifics in a few minutes, right? Your intuition is usually calm and clear, and it comes. This is the key. Comes before you start thinking. Okay? I'm not going to say who it was. I have someone in my life, it's a girl, and her mother passed away several years ago. And she told me the story yesterday. She said, I was looking out the window in my kitchen and all of a sudden a hummingbird came right up to the window and I said, "Hi, Mom." She didn't think. Is that my mom? Oh my God. Could that be my mother? Oh my God. What if it is? What if it's not? Because that's what our ego mind does. Our ego mind thinks about all of that stuff. Like, is it? Is it not? Am I wrong? Am I crazy? What? It was before she just instantly knew. Okay. So, all right. That is intuition. Okay. And it usually comes with, usually kind of comes with a feeling of peace or neutrality about the situation. Even if it's telling you something kind of uncomfortable, you might just know. And I got to tell you, once you start living this way, you become more confident. Your self-esteem kind of rises a bit. I got to tell you, it's amazing. Okay. So now what is anxiety then? Okay. Anxiety then is where it might feel urgent or very panicked. Anxiety, right? Obviously. You might think of these thoughts over and over again, really repetitive, or you might even spiral with your thoughts on whatever it is. Okay. And honestly, the anxiety part comes out of a place of fear. Okay. So there's that. Now, the next part of that is then, what is your imagination? Okay. And that is usually very creative, dreamy, less emotionally charged. It often, your imagination usually comes after thinking about something. Like, you might be thinking, oh, should I have the salad? But then your imagination starts to come in and you start dreaming about the pizza. I had pizza for dinner last night. So that's where that kind of comes from, right? It's not exactly grounded in anything physical or emotional in the knowing department. Okay. All right. Now, here's a little tip. Okay. Real intuition. And this, you're going to hear me say this over and over again for this entire month. Real intuition usually speaks first. Okay. Kind of like the example of my friend's, the bird coming to the window. Just, "Hi, Mom." Okay. Your fear and your logic at that point, then try to override it afterwards. Okay. So next time you get a little nudge, ask yourself, did that message come in sort of fast and clear and calm? Or did it feel kind of from a place of anxiety or spirally? Don't you love my my language here? Okay. So that's how you determine it. And it takes practice, which is why I'm doing the class, which is why I do an ongoing mediumship and psychic development circle, because you have to practice it. Practice, practice, practice. Whether, even you don't have to have a class with it too, but I'm just saying, when you have that accountability, sometimes that helps. Doesn't have to be mine. It could be somebody else's. There are development circles everywhere. Okay. So, all right. Now, how does your intuition speak to you? Okay. Here's the thing. We are all intuitive. Okay. But we all receive that intuition differently. Okay. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to go over some of the things. This is kind of an interesting conversation. Okay. Some of you might be what we call feelers. Okay. You feel the energy in your body. Okay. You walk into a room and you just know that the energy is off. Okay. Could be a Zoom room, it could be a physical room. Right. You might say things like, I just don't know why, but I feel it. I feel whatever it is. Okay. Those are feelers. That is clairsentience. All right. You can research this later. You can write this stuff down, whatever you want to do. Right. But that is clairsentience. You might feel it. Oh, I just know. You can feel, once you get really kind of tapped into it, you can kind of really feel when the energy is off. My main clair is clairsentience. That I have been an empath and a clairsentient my entire life, but I had no clue until about 20, 25 years ago. I knew that I had feelings. Yeah, don't we all? I knew that I had stuff. I knew stuff, I knew, okay, I don't know where, okay, I'll give you this example, right? I want to tell a story, but then I was thinking in my head, should I tell this story? And I just knew that I was supposed to share this, right? All right. So this is like into my life. I used to be a performer. I used to be a singer. Okay. We perform all over the place. We used to perform actually at the veterans hospitals all across the country. It was a beautiful thing. I just wanted to sing when I was young. I was 20, right? I just wanted to sing. I didn't care, what it was about. But then all of a sudden I realized the bigness of what I was doing. Anyway, bottom line is we would go into these hospitals and sometimes you would see things that weren't fantastic to see. Okay. Again, grew up really fast. I would go into an individual hospital or a facility or whatever, and I would feel really good about the show, or I would feel really good about the people we were talking to or whatever. And sometimes I would, and I didn't know why I was feeling this way. Sometimes I would feel like I just wanted to cry, and it wasn't because of the day or that time of the month or whatever. We can rationalize so many things away, let me just say, right? But in looking back, I can tell you that I would feel stuff. I walked into, okay, I'm just going to tell you, I walked into a room one time and it was a patient's room. And these guys were all veterans, right? So I would sit and talk to them and ask them questions about, no, this is a long time ago, but like World War II or the Vietnam War, Korea, all these, they had served, right? So I'd ask them questions or whatever. And what ended up happening was I knew something was off. I knew something. This is before I was a medium, by the way. I knew that someone had just, I'm sorry to say this, died right next to the man I was talking to. I didn't know it, cognitively. I didn't know it, but I knew it, So anyway, I don't know why I was supposed to tell you that story. Somebody, again, living that spirit-led life, I got to go with my gut. and if I feel like I'm supposed to tell you something, I tell it. Okay. Again, if you have any questions, please come to the YouTube link. And because that's where we're going to do all of the questions or comments or whatever it is that you want to talk about. So just throwing that out there really quick. Okay. So then let's move along. Okay. Past clairsentience. And let's move along to another clair. And that is clear knowing. Okay. And this is called claircognizance. All right. This is the one where you just know things. Okay. So when I was in that, that man's hospital room, I just knew. I felt it because I could feel the man that was sitting there's anxiety. But I also felt that behind that curtain or whatever, that there was something else going on, kind of. Okay. You just know stuff. You might blurt out, as I just did, you might blurt out truth bombs, that you kind of didn't plan to. Hello, what did I just do? I love working with spirit. Seriously, when you put your trust into spirit full on, it takes many years to do that. You don't have to second guess anything because you know that spirit wanted you to go in that direction. All right. So anyway, so claircognizance. You don't know how you know, you just know. You don't know how you know, right? Okay. The next way that you might be experiencing, in your intuition is you might see stuff. Okay. Now, you can see stuff without being a medium. Just saying. Okay. You might get a little flash. You might have dreams. Everyone, I dare somebody to tell me that they've never had a dream that felt prophetic. I dare somebody to write that in there, right? You might, have a dream about something and you just kind of know. Okay. That's clairvoyance. Okay. You might see things in your mind's eye. Okay. That or that you can't unsee, kind of thing. You might have a vivid imagination that you think, and that might turn out to be true. Okay. All right. So now next, some people are hearers. What does that mean? Right. This is called clairaudience. All right. You might hear phrases in your mind, song lyrics with a message. That is a huge one for me. I'll hear out of nowhere, I will just hear a song. I'll hear the lyrics in my head. And I'll be like, oh, I think that's a message. Now, sometimes it's from one of my spirit people, my guides, right? But sometimes it's just, I just hear it and I just know. Okay. You might hear the guidance like it's your own voice. Okay. But maybe not exactly your own voice. Okay. So you might understand this. This is kind of interesting in terms of all of these clairs, and there's more. I'm just not going to get into them all. What you might want to do, what you might have is several of them, a few of the clairs. There's one that's usually more prominent than the others. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I know I want this month to be about sort of everyday intuition, but I really wanted this first session to be about knowledge. Okay. You may understand a lot of this stuff, but you may not understand. It may be happening to you. It may not be happening to you. Okay. So you got to kind of think of it in terms of that. All right. So what we're going to do is a little mini sort of check-in. All right. Here's the question. Think about the last time that you just kind of knew something. Okay. It might have been this morning, might have been last week. You just kind of knew. Okay. How did it come to you? Okay. Did it come in as a dream? Did it come in? Did you hear something? Did you heard a song on the radio and you're like, whoa, you don't know why? You don't know what the message was, but you heard the song lyrics and thought, whoa. Did you feel a nudge? Call your mother, call your mother, call your mother, or whatever. Call your friend. You might have heard that, or you might have felt that nudge. Okay. This is your intuitive language. And this is the fun part. Everybody's is different. Everybody's is completely different. Fun, right? It's so much fun. I mean, obviously I wouldn't be here doing all this if I didn't think that this was really, really fun. So, all right, now what we're going to do, we're going to practice. Oh, Beck says, seeing angel numbers on the clock feels like reassurance. I love that. Now, for me, reassurance wouldn't be what the numbers on the clock are. But for you, it's reassurance. And that is everything. I thank you for saying that, Bex. You're I love how we're doing this. All right. That's amazing, right? For me, when I see angel numbers, I just think it's somebody saying hi or somebody, well, I guess it is in a sense reassurance. It's somebody saying hi, basically, But for Bex, it's like a reassurance. And it might be something completely different for you. Okay. So we're going to practice just a little tiny bit here. Okay. And it's just going to be fun. This is a few ways to play with your intuition. All right. Now, all right. This is going to be interesting. Okay. And you can do this now. You can do this later. All right. What I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes and think of a friend. Okay. Somebody that you talk to relatively often. All right. Somebody kind of close to you. All right. Now, what I want you to do is ask your intuition, what color are they vibing with today? What color? Okay. So you have a friend that you're really close to, and you're closing your eyes and you're thinking, okay, what color is it that this friend is wearing today? Or, yeah, basically wearing today. Let's do it that. Okay. So ask your intuition that and get a color in your mind. Okay. And what I want you to do is, I probably should have said this before, the first color that pops into your head, what was that? What color was it? Red, blue, yellow, whatever. Okay. Whatever that first color was that you thought. Okay. Now open your eyes, and you can do this now. You can do this some other time, whatever. Text your friend and ask them what color they are wearing, or, and then find that out. And then, but, just as a little caveat, I want to say to this little exercise, it might not necessarily be the color that they are wearing, but a color that they are working around. Like, let's just say they're wearing red, but they're in the gardening. That might be because it's green. Okay. So that might be why you're feeling green. Right. So give yourself a little bit of leeway there, but text your friend and find out what color they are wearing right now. Okay. You might want to say, if it's wrong, you might want to say, I'm seeing green, but you're telling me you have red on. Why would I be seeing green? You can ask that. Oh, Bernadette, I don't have friends. Oh, sweetheart. I hope that's a joke. Hi, Bernadette. Nice to see you. Okay. I really believe that if you do that exercise, you will be shocked at what the sort of outcome is, right? I just thought of my best childhood friend. Oh, Bernadette. Sending love to you. Okay, so woo. Text them. Hopefully it's somebody that you can text or whatever, right? Ask them what color they're wearing and say, you don't have to say what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to really say what you're doing, but you can just say, oh, I'm playing around, you know? Okay. All right. So do that and, email me back. Let me know what happens with that if you try that. Okay. All right. Now, this next little sort of exercise. Okay. The next time you have a choice to make about something, whether it's big or small, I would say to start with something small. Okay. Start. You can do this little exercise anytime you like and as many times as you like, right? There's the case on that. But that's why I'm saying might be smart to start small. All right. All right. You have a big choice to make or a small choice, whatever, a choice. Oh my God, Lori. Ask yourself, pause and ask yourself, if I did know the answer, what would it be? What would it be? Okay. Then trust the first thing that comes up to you. First thing that comes into your mind. Trust that. Write that down. Okay. Allow yourself just to sit in that present moment. And whatever the first thing is, that's your answer. Okay. You can, and I've done this, especially at the beginning, walk away from the situation for a few minutes, walk away from like the chair I'm sitting in. That's a big one for me. I used to have a job that was marketing, right? And when you're doing marketing, sometimes you need to be creative, right? So I would feel like I was stuck, I was also a songwriter. I don't know why I'm telling you guys all this. I was also a songwriter, get stuck on a line, right? So I'd get up and I'd walk away and I'd come back. And then I'd ask myself the same thing again and get the answer. All right. So that's my point. Okay. So whatever the first thing is that comes to your mind, if you feel stuck, you can walk away, come back, ask yourself again, and say whatever that first thing is. Okay. All right. So the next thing is, hi, Melanie. You're a sensitive. Oh, this is good. When you are a sensitive person or someone with gifts, it can be really hard to make friends. Oh, yes. Been there, sending you so much love. That's so sweet. And she's right. When you're sensitive, when you're an empath, you feel everything. So you know when people are lying to you. I'm just here to say, right? That's why a lot of people, you know what? I'm not going to get into that conversation. That's a whole other day, right? That'll come later on in the month. All right. All right. So let's go into exercise number 3. All right. Now, this is a fun one. Okay. So you can stand or you can sit, whatever. Close your eyes. Okay. This is a really interesting one. Close your eyes and ask your body, relax your body. Maybe put your hands on your heart, whatever it is for you. Okay. And ask your body, show me a yes. Okay. So right after you say that, what you want to do is you want to notice how you're feeling. Okay. You want to notice any little twinges in your body. Do you feel goosebumps? Do you feel a little weak? Does your gut feel like butterflies? Okay. Notice what any of that is. Okay. It might be tingling. Okay. Then what you want to do is once you kind of have sat in that for a minute, you can't spend too long on it because you will think too much. I'm just saying, Then what you want to do is go back in, relax your body, go into your heart space or, close your eyes and then say, show me a no. All right. And then feel the difference. You feel the difference between, you might feel exuberated. with the yes, like, oh my God, you might feel for the no, you might feel like, oh man, oh, I'm hurting, whatever it is. Okay. That is your body's way of speaking to you. Okay. That is your own personal intuition. Okay. I really, if you don't do anything else that I've talked about here today, try that. Okay. And it can be so much fun. So much fun. Okay. So now, what I want to do for you is I'm going to give you we're going to talk sort of journaling. Okay. Journal prompts are so good for this because, and this is my big thing. Okay. And I always say this whenever I talk about, because I wrote a book called Manifestation Journal for Beginners, right? I always say this about journaling. I was never really into journaling until I understood the importance of it. Let's just say, right? What journaling allows you to do is write down your feelings as you're feeling them. And then maybe, 2 days, a week, a month later, come back to that and go, oh my God, this is what was happening. And this is how I felt. You can get that feeling back. Okay. I hope that makes sense because that's journaling. Oh my God, I can't say enough about it. Right. All right. So ask yourself this question and into your journal. Okay. Where has my intuition saved me in the past? Where has my intuition saved me in the past? I'm just thinking, I went to see a band play last night. It's a long story, but I used my intuition on something for my sister-in-law. That's all I'm going to say about that. Used it and it was spot on. Okay. And it saved us, not physically and not dramatically saved us, but it saved us. Right. Okay. Where has my intuition saved me in the past? Or you could also say this and write these questions down. What does my intuition want me to know today? What does my intuition want me to know today? Okay. So allow yourself 5 minutes or so just to write stuff out. Now, for me, and I'm just going to say, I journal on the computer because I type faster than I write. And I type so fast that I'm able to sort of think the sentence and type it out. So just wanted to throw that out to you if that helps in terms of journaling. Okay. Allow yourself to write for 5 minutes or so. Okay. Don't edit it. Just write. Don't think. Okay. All right. So I want to tell you a few quick little stories. Not like I haven't told you tons here. Oh, Woo says, before I get into that, I have many stories where my intuition saved me or would have if I listened to it. See, and that's the thing. You're gonna not listen to your intuition sometimes. That just happens. I'm sorry to say it, right? But Woo, thank you for pointing that out because your intuition, you're gonna learn how to trust it by failing. Like, you know what? Which way can I go to the store? I can go to the right, I can go straight. You know what? I'm going to go straight. Full well feeling my body moving like I should go to the right. You go straight, takes you a half an hour longer because there was an accident. Okay. You should have turned right. Those types of things. This is the everyday intuition that I'm talking about. And again, I don't know if I coined this phrase or not, but when I talk about living a spirit-led life, this is what it is. Okay. And you can do it too. Okay. You don't have to be a medium to listen to your intuition. You don't have to be psychic. Okay. Okay. So one little story that I wanted to share. First of all, I'm still really learning how to truly trust my intuition, right? I've kind of learned that when I get that weird sort of gut feeling in my gut, you know, what I do is I stop and I take a breath. Okay. And then I continue on with whatever I'm doing. Okay. Sometimes in doing that, it will stop you from making I'm going to say the wrong decision, but really, is there a wrong decision? It's just your decision, if you look at it in terms of that, right? Um, you know, Sending that text that was a little iffy, you know, those are the small things, but then there are larger things that sometimes, you shouldn't do or you should do, whatever. It's a lifelong challenge. I am still working on that. But I am really fortunate in that I am a psychic and intuitive and a medium, right? So I have my spirit team behind me and I work with them a lot. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Which way should I go? What should I say? Before I do, this is a big one too for me, okay? And this could be really good for all of you, okay? Before you do any sort of, for me, this is my story. You can change it around to fit you, right? Before I do any sort of spirit work, anything, whether it's having a phone conversation with somebody that's a client, or whether it's giving a reading online, or whether it's doing these lives, I open up my chakras, I call in my spirit team, and the last thing I say before anything starts, before I do anything is, I give this up to you, spirit, for your highest and greatest good. And because I do that, I have full trust, because don't forget, I've been working on this for a long time. Okay. So that's what I do. And I'll know what to say. I might get an errant thought that says, oh, do it this way. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, oh no, So sometimes I don't listen, unfortunately, but most of the time I do. I'm getting good at it, but you got to practice. It's kind of like the same thing with like going to the gym. You can't just not practice this stuff, if you want to build what do I want to say? If you want to build the muscle, you've got to keep working out. Okay. So there's that spirit-led life. And again, I don't know if I coined that phrase, but I love it regardless. Right. All right. So I hope this opened up some things, some new ways of thinking for you guys. Bernadette. Oh, okay. So Bernadette says, appreciate that. I normally give my all to people close to me. I don't understand. Oh, and you know what? Mercury's in retrograde, my friend. So that's a whole other aspect to this. What I do wrong most of the times. Well, you know what? Dear one, you're so sweet, Bernadette. I feel like that I want to give you a little message. And then I'm going to read the rest of the comments in a second. I feel like I want to give you a little message. Learning how to trust your own intuition is going to help you through that. Okay. There are many times in my life when I have felt completely alone, but when you start really listening to your intuition and your gut, I should go here, right? Spirit will never lead you down a road that is wrong. But you got to listen to it. It may feel uncomfortable to go down a certain road. Even if spirit is like, you go down this road and you're like, it's bumpy, man. It's going to mess up my car, whatever, So just keep trying. You're here for a reason. Bernadette, I feel like, honestly, and in terms of what we're talking about. You're here for a reason. You're supposed to be hearing this. Okay. So, okay. So Wu says, I have many stories where my intuition saved me. Oh, or if I would have listened to it. Okay. Melanie says, same Bernadette, so many stories. People have broken my heart over and over, truly sending you infinite love. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm the car accident girl. Oh no, that's terrible. When I haven't listened to my intuition, even when my subconscious tries to take my body over. Oh yeah, it's so true. Sometimes they'll be like, sometimes it'll just be a little whisper in your ear. And then other times they're like yelling at you. You know, I don't know, some of you may have heard the story about when oh my God, I was robbed, right? I was in a parking lot of a grocery store. And, oh my God. I was putting my groceries away and like an idiot, I left my purse in the cart, which is so stupid. I know, right? So I'm moving things around in the cart and I hear in my head, this clear audience, right? Turn around and look at your cart. So I'm like, so I turn around, I didn't see anything, right? And a guy had walked past and I was like, okay, so I look in my purse just real quick. Everything seemed to be fine. So I look back. Then I look back and I'm still rooting around in my trunk and I hear loud, like yelling at me, turn around and look in your purse. I swear to you. And it was like, whoa. Like this is one of those moments that I will never forget because it was so loud, you know? And sure enough, I look in my purse, my wallet is gone. Now, some of the guy had rooted through ew, it's gross, right? Rooted through my purse and grabbed my wallet. Well, I'm not a wallflower, in case you didn't notice, right? And I'm loud. I've been loud my whole life. Our family was called the loud family, whatever, right? So I start screaming bloody murder. Not like, not like that. Screaming at the guy because I'd known that it was the guy. The guy, for some reason, and this is where spirit kind of helped me out a little bit. The guy is walking this way, but then he turns around and he starts walking down another aisle. So I go running after him. I'm thinking, I can leave my purse there. There's nothing in it now, you know, kind of thing. So I'm running after the guy and I'm screaming bloody murder, which is, again, loud. And people were looking. I'm like, hey, stop. Oh my God, it was crazy, right? So sure enough, I walk up to the guy and he's like, what? I turn over his hand and there's my wallet. Grab the wallet. I called him a very bad word. Actually, the whole string of things that I was saying was all bad words. Like, and I don't want to say them on this channel, right? Right. So my point is that and I got my wallet back is the bottom line. Had I not been sort of tapped in and listening to what spirit was telling me, sometimes your guides have to yell at you before you get it. You know, I've had, I don't want to say yelling matches with my spirit guides, but I've had times where we yell at my guides back and forth. I don't want to do that. No, you need to do that, Lori. I don't want to. Right? That's just the way it works. You know? Oh, so Pete says, how did you know it was him? Ooh, interesting question. It was a voice that was coming in my ear. For some reason, I'm pointing here to this side, my right side. I don't know why, but it was like my spirit guide was here. I'm a medium too, so I understand what that means. You know what I mean? Like it was my spirit guide. Okay. But it was coming in this side. I don't know why. I'm not sure what that means or what it meant or whatever. So I could hear it. Okay. And then, but okay, I'm just going to say it this way. What an idiot am I? When I first heard it and I turned around and I said, oh, you're full of it. Why would I do that? It's like it's spirit telling me to turn around. Why would I not listen to it? Why would I look and sort of blow it off and go, really? If your spirit guides are telling you something and you know that they're telling you something, listen. So anyway, so that's the story on that. Okay, all right. Bottom line to this whole thing is this. You don't have to be a professional psychic to be connected. That is the whole entire thing of this. Okay. You don't need a crystal ball, even though they are kind of fun. You know, you just need to notice and trust. And Play with your intuition, to be quite honest. I play with my intuition all the time. It's fun. This stuff is supposed to be fun. Spirit wants us to have fun, you know? The more you learn to do this, the more your spirit team will then speak up and you'll understand it, you know? The more your soul will feel, and your soul will feel heard, to be honest, actually, you know? The more aligned and magical, you know, your everyday life will become magical. You know, you don't need to be fully woo to be deeply spiritual. You just don't. Okay. Spiritual-ish. I love that word. I love that, right? Um, spiritual-ish is very powerful. It is. Okay. All right. So that's what I've got today. If anybody has any questions, let's roll that out. I'm super excited. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions before Betty? Betty says, know thyself. Oh, I love that. Love that. You know, one little thing I want to say before we go is your intuition is the whisper of your soul. All right. Try not to wait for it to scream like I did. You know, listen to the whisper. Yeah, that's the beautiful part. Oh my gosh. Okay. So next time, and I believe this will be Tuesday, okay, we're going to be talking about discovering your own unique style. Okay. So we're going to get into that this week. All right. Now, Tuesday's session is just for Patreon's members. Okay. So go to my Patreon page. I would love for you to. It's patreon.com. Oh, I should put a thing in there. Banner. Wait, where is it? Here it is. All right. So go to my Patreon page, sign up, even if it's just for a free membership. I don't do anything. I mean, truly, you guys, I really don't do anything that is like really that expensive. I do that on purpose. And I said this at the beginning. I have mentors that I've studied with that charge sometimes thousands of dollars. And I just don't do that. Okay. Because I want to be there for the masses, you know? So there's that. Go to my Patreon page and check it all out. I will see you guys on Tuesday. And thanks for being here. Love you guys so much. Have a beautiful day. It's a gorgeous day outside. The sun is coming in. Well, I had to close curtains so that it wouldn't cause a thing. But, you know, sun's coming in. Life is good. So until next time, namaste. And remember to tell someone that you love them today. Take care, everybody. Bye.